Nancy Zeman. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Sewing with Nancy. It's time to discover the joy of sewing and quilting. Today we have an exciting program. We'd like to start by giving you some guidelines on how to work with the pattern guide and also how to give samples or set up samples in your class. We're going to be using two fabrics to create this wall hanging. And knowing what fabrics to use, you can be very creative. My machine is set up for an overlock stitch. This is a great technique, not only because it looks good, but it's so fast. This program is the start of a three-part series called Creative Embroidery Connection. And this is the third program of my three-part series entitled, you guessed it, Sewing for Children. Since we're so fortunate to have a guest this week, Mary Malari, we're going to feature her in our guest showcase. Today we'd like to welcome our special guest, Gail Brown. Natalie, it's always a pleasure to work with you and now to share this new idea of flower garden quilting. Eileen Roche, our resident embroidery expert and designer, is my guest to share insights into how she designs embroidery, and you'll be surprised what a great look you can create. It's just that easy. That's what's coming up next on Sewing with Nancy. See you soon. What a treat to have you here. As you can tell at home, this is a special day on Sewing with Nancy. It's our 30th anniversary special, a two-part series where I'm going to have special guests, look back over the last 30 years, different hairstyles, different scenery, special guests, and of course, some bloopers. The 30th anniversary special, that's what's coming up next on Sewing with Nancy. To begin this 30th anniversary special, I thought it best to tell you how I started, how this became my classroom. People often ask, what's my background? Well, I began to sew when I was 10 years old, and I joined the 4-H club. Many people of my generation living in rural America, eastern Wisconsin, particularly for me, were 4-H members, and sewing, of course, became my passion. Also took forestry, but we're not going there. And when you had sewing, you had to have volunteer leaders through 4-H. And my first 4-H leader is with me today. And she taught 6 to 7 different kids all together. We made a gathered skirt, a fringed scarf. Not only is she my first 4-H leader, but also my mother. I'd like you to meet my mom, Barbara Littke-Eckstein. 4-H and sewing gave me confidence. Obviously, I have a facial paralysis, not the normal television type of personality. Gave me confidence to grow as a person. I loved it, and then majored it in college. I have a degree in clothing, textiles, and design from UW Stout, minor in journalism. And after college, I had job interviews. One of the job interviews was in Chicago. And that first job interview was with Mr. Zeman. Yeah, if that name rings a bell, yeah, I got the job. 2 years later, we were married, and some people call him Mr. Nancy. Some people have referred to him as Mr. Notions. Yeah. I call him Rich. I'd like you to meet my husband, Rich Zeman. It's really a treat to have my family here. You know, what an honor for me. And after we were married, we moved to Virginia, Minnesota, where Rich had a job. And I didn't have one. I didn't have a job. So I decided to give sewing seminars. And so I did. County Extension Services, stores, traveled around the country, got old quickly. And people would say, where do you get that product you're using? And after about 2 times seminars around the country, I thought, well, I'm going to paste up an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And Rich thought I should call it So Sensational. I called it Nancy's Notions. I liked the alliteration of it all. So 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, made Nancy's Notions, got a P.O. box in Virginia, Minnesota. Our second bedroom of our 2-bedroom apartment became the warehouse, the sewing room, and the guest room. Yep, all in one. Then shortly thereafter, I was asked to do a pilot for cable television. Now in 1982, cable television, you wouldn't know what that was. I thought it was the heavy cable that was holding the antenna to the top of our roof. Luckily, not too many people had that because I tried it. In our home, we had a 2-bedroom house. In our living room, our dining room table became the demonstration table, also the sewing table, all in one. And we have one clip to show you. That's our only clip we have of that first full year of programming. A very green host with a very condensed set, very wobbly table, but I forged forward to show you a first clip, an embarrassing first clip of the first year of Sewing with Nancy called Contemporary Tailoring. Hi, I'm Nancy Zeman. Welcome to another program of Sewing with Nancy. Today we conclude our 4-part series of contemporary tailoring. I'm going to set my machine at a basting stitch just in case I have to take it out. Now I'll go to my machine. I have the machine set at the basting stitch. Usually that's 6 or 8 stitches per inch, and sew from the point of the lapel to the edge. Now, it's always important in this area that all your stitches lock. So when you start to stitch, make certain that the take-up lever, the lever that goes up and down on your machine, is in its upright position. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.